Dragon Quest V Hand of the Heavenly Bride is one of my favorite games of all time. I actually have the YouTube channel Designing 4 to thank for convincing me to replay it recently. You should go check them out if you haven't. They're really great people in addition to being excellent writers. However, they're not what I'm here to talk about today. Sorry guys, I'll have to do Designing for Brain Rot another day. You might be wondering why I love Dragon Quest V so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, you say. It's got a great graphical style, a wonderful story, and a fun combat system with a huge variety of monsters to mix and match into your party. A multi-generational story about all this stuff makes for a really cool concept, and it even has party chat. God, every RPG should have party chat. But you know what? None of that really matters. I want my wife. As the game title implies, there is a heavenly bride involved somewhere in there, and that heavenly bride is your lovely wife, who you get to choose. There's 2 or 3 depending on whether or not you're playing the DS remake, which is the best way to play the game, by the way. And though they aren't exactly the peak of character writing, they all have very distinct personalities. Do you go with Bianca, the tomboy, or Nira, the gentle and sweet one? How about Deborah, the one who seems to hate your guts? I mean, whatever floats your boat. I personally chose Nira because she reminds me a lot of myself. They all learn the same spells, just in different orders, so ultimately I don't think it really matters that much from a gameplay perspective. Anyway, over the course of your journey, you can use the incredible party chat function to get your party members' thoughts on various situations. This is incredibly fun, and it leads to the story being even more memorable and impactful because you get attached to the various people in your party. So after we got married, Nira and I traveled the world, and I made sure to make her voice her thoughts on every encounter we had. I went back to every town just to get all the sweet, sweet dialogue out of this game I could, like any other RPG. Eventually, I got really attached to her. I didn't want her to go away. She was my emotional support, and she was the one who made sure that when I was feeling down about something in the story, I'd be picked back up again shortly. Her sweet personality was just what I needed, some unconditional support. Then she got taken from me. Absolutely wonderful. As the second act comes to a close, your wife is kidnapped and turned into a stone statue, and you two are separated for 10 years. And there's a very grueling scene where you have to just wait and watch as some kid knocks you over and you're used as a lawn decoration because, well, you were turned into a stone statue too. You have to wait to find her. Many, many, many dungeons pass. You don't find her until the end of the penultimate dungeon, and it is painful. I was a goddamn wreck during the days it took me to play through this part. I had just spent a few days getting used to her as an emotional support for every step of the journey, and then she got ripped away from me just as quickly. Imagine if you had someone constantly supporting you through every endeavor in your life, and she was just ripped away from you in an instant, and the only way to find her was a series of loose clues that may or may not lead you to your answer. I've been there, and this game reminded me so much of that. This heartache creates an incredible feeling in the player. Due to the pain I was going through, it made me ever more likely to pursue clues and figure out why the hell my wife was in a place called Crocodilopolis. Like, come on, babe, I taught you out of class. This emotional pain drove me to finishing the game and giving my wife and our family a happy ending, and all it took was a lot of reading and backtracking and a lot of grinding. Sadly, this approach doesn't really work unless the player is already invested in the life of the main character enough to go through all the party chats with her. Not every player is as RPG crazy as I am, where they try to read every bit of text possible. In fact, and I know this is quite shocking, I'd wager most aren't. But for what's there, it works tremendously. In fact, it made a great game about a story across generations into one of my favorite games I've ever played. And maybe someday I'll play it again, but this time I'll pick Bianca. Nah, who am I kidding? Nira for life. This has been Arcadian Everlasting Attachment Issues to Fictional Characters Extraordinaire, signing off. Thank you for watching.